Now, Dr. Shiva is a scientist, inventor of email. He's got the title of that, literally. He's the guy who came up with the term email and codified it into that system. And he is running against Elizabeth Warren, who will not do the genetic test, who the tribes say she has no connection to in Oklahoma or other areas. But he's a real Indian from the subcontinent, India. But he's a great patriot. I'd love to get him into the U.S. Senate. But regardless, he is reaching tens of millions of people in the interviews he's doing and what he's doing. But, boy, they've been censoring him, saying he can't put up his political signs, even if he pays for it. It's getting crazy. So we're part of the 34-hour broadcast right now going to him to cover what he's been doing, what's been happening, but then expanding. He's a smart guy on some great technology ideas he has. And then the blue wave turning into a blue backwash of toilet bowl cleaner. And then you've got the red tsunami now with all these anti-Trump Republicans being swept out of office in special elections. So we're going to look at all that. What are they going to do if the trend since the Civil War that when a Republican has the presidency after his first 2 years, the Democrats take control of the House or Senate or both, because all the evidence is pointing towards that not happening. But remember, they got an old ace up the sleeve and a couple other cards, five or six aces. So they're going to try to steal the election, as they've already done. But Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai, thanks for joining us with some big breaking exclusive news.
Yeah, great to be here, Alex. I think I may just hit my camera. How are you?
I'm good, man. It's good to see your smiling face there. Where do you want to start? The blue wave turning into a fizzle, your big announcement, the censorship you're facing, North Korea. There's so much to cover.
We can start anywhere because they're all interconnected, right? You touch one part, it connects to everything else. Maybe we should just start with the free speech thing, Alex.
Yes.
Because that's where we left off last time. Last time we were on, Alex, we shared with you and your audience that, we got this big sign out here. You may see it, only the real Indian can defeat the fake Indian. It's a very powerful meme, Alex, and I want to really explain why it's so powerful and why we put it out there, because it really is an expression of not only my anger, but pretty much everyone's anger at the corruption that is taking place in government. And Elizabeth Warren is a face of that corruption. So when we put that signage up on our bus, the city of Cambridge, which is supposed to be the most liberal haven on the planet, said we had to take it down. That was on April 5th, 2018. We didn't do that. In fact, we retaliated hard and we sued them, took them to federal court, and we won. They surrendered completely. And, then based on that, we dismissed the court case. Obviously, the mainstream media did not want to cover our victory. So what we realized, Alex, the big news is this, and this is something that's really, really important. You see, for far too long, the establishment has made politics essentially an audience sport, right? They do not want the everyday citizen to actually be involved in that aspect, right? Because they don't want to give power.
They don't want people in the arena.
They don't want people in the arena. They want to make it the old Hollywood celebrity culture. You put a couple of people on pedestals, and we're supposed to watch them and eat our popcorn. So what we've done here, Alex, is that's becoming really powerful, is we've figured out the victory to winning. And that aha moment came, every time we take the bus out, Alex, people just love our campaign. You guys can see, I think, several months ago in the St. Patrick's Day parade, millions saw us, millions of people are cheering us on. We went to the Bunker Hill Day parade recently with the bus. And what happened was, this is a enclave of both quote unquote liberals and working class people. Unanimously, except for probably 5% of the people loved that slogan. I mean, talk about market focus groups. And what we realized was, people say, you know what, you guys have a lot of courage to put that out there, because you're bringing out something in Massachusetts that people do not want to talk about. So the bus is essentially it's weaponized. It's a weaponized way of getting across our message. So what we've done is, if you see these magnetic signs here, they're really easy. So we want to replicate this all over the state, Alex. In fact, all over the country. And basically, people can buy these magnetic signs. You can see, as you're showing, being put on. And since we launched it, we have, tons of people starting to write and wanting these. And why is that? And the reality is, when Elizabeth Warren, it's not about identity, right? The liberals want to convert it to a race issue, but it has nothing to do with race. It has to do with integrity. We're talking about someone who did not work hard, who cut in line. You, me, Alex, and pretty much every American watching your show works for a living. You know, I mowed lawns as a kid, you know, learned to engineer software as a kid, as a 14-year-old kid, have been working all my life. But Elizabeth Warren cut in front of line, and they do not want to discuss that. They will, the 1 out of 100 who do not like our signage are the vocal minority of what I call white liberal racists, or liberal racists right now. It's
exactly. And we'll talk about this more when we come back, because this is so important. It's like Rachel Dolezal saying she's African-American when she doesn't have one drop of black blood in her. She goes and puts creams on, frizzes her hair out, makes her kid look like the kid's black. These people are sick because they're the ones pushing this whole really a new caste system where if you're one of these protected groups, you're better than everybody. So I want to specifically talk about that. But yeah, Warren is a fraud. Please continue.
Yes. So we are bringing up not just a race issue, because for far too long down the street is Harvard University, the white liberal racists who want us to keep us all on their reservation and plantation have bounded the discussion of race, Alex, and they don't know what to do with us. Because when we bring up that sign, they'll say, oh, that's racist. We'll say, really? And we'll flip it back and we say, look, you're the racist because you're supporting a woman who took advantage of race to get in, and when she's not of that race.
You got me thinking. Your announcement's so smart. Tell folks about your big plan. It's very, very exciting.
Yeah. So basically the idea is, you know, people want to participate. The establishment always wants to make people be onlookers. You know, that's part of the establishment goal. And so it's always a little bit of hesitancy to go interact. For example, when we go out to parades and we distribute cards, Alex, and we get our first set of volunteers, they're always a little bit shy. And then they get this connection with people. People look at them in the eye. People start conversing. And that's when we get back to being human beings again. So the goal here is we want to have about 10,000 people on the ground. Your car is an amazing opportunity to advertise, right? It's just a wonderful opportunity. You put these magnetic signs on, like you said, they can come off, come on, but you start a dialogue. When people drive around with these magnetic signs, people will honk, people pull over, we give them cards, but you start having discourse. And the vocal minority who start yelling or screaming at it, it's a great opportunity to have another discourse and really talk about politics, which the establishment doesn't want us to do.
Because
right?
These are bullies shutting speech down on the internet, on the colleges, the high schools, and just exercising it is a revolutionary act. Telling the truth in a world of universal deceit is a revolutionary act, to paraphrase Eric Blair, a.k.a. George Orwell. Exactly. It is an act of resistance.
It's an act of resistance, but more importantly, to have a dialogue. So, you know, when we were, Sunday was a Bunker Hill Day parade. That's when the American Revolution, after the shot in Lexington was shot, really took off. And here we went there, 50,000 people. And before we were going there, Alex, we had to take our bus through Harvard Square, right in front of Harvard Law School, where Elizabeth Warren used to hold her professorship. And this Harvard law student comes out and starts yelling at us, saying, that's racist. And I turn around and say, what are you talking about? That's racist. I said, you're the racist because you're condoning Elizabeth Warren, who took advantage of race. And I said, furthermore, I said, you have put a bound on what racism is. If I do or if I do not use the N-word, or if I change the name of some building, then I'm not a racist. I said, you guys are the racists.
That's right. They use race to control, just like all racists have always done, to change the subject. You got poor white sharecroppers versus black slaves playing against each other. It's the same story of divide and conquer over and over again.
Yeah, and what's interesting is when we put this out, you know, we had some guy come onto my Twitter feed and say, you know, you are a curry Indian. I don't know if I can use the N-word here. Can I, Alex, on your show? Probably not, right?
Yeah, no, let's not do it.
Okay. Well, he said you're a curry Indian N. Okay. So I responded back on Twitter, and you can see it because it was a response. And I said, let me be accurate. We're all, you know, N's on the deep state, on the white liberal deep state reservation, which went viral. My point is, a person of my background who's been an American, who's worked hard and who's struggled, has a unique opportunity, and all of us should take advantage of the fact that I'm running to really expand the discussion of race and realize that it's the deep state which wants to pit poor whites against poor blacks. They thrive on race war. So putting this on is not about race, but it's really about integrity. And it really goes.
That's right. And they think they own the whole race debate to promulgate it, to make it worse. Then they're the high priest that program what is racist, what isn't, actually covering up real inequity and real problems. So here's the big call to action. How do folks, even if they're not in Massachusetts, how do they get one of these babies?
It's very easy. You just go to shivaforsenate.com. You can find it right there. It's called a Road Warrior Kit. Go to the store, get the Road Warrior Kit. We've made it. You get 2 magnetic stickers, you get a lawn sign, you get 2 bumper stickers.
Oh, my God. You got to call this Operation Road Warrior. Is that what you're calling it?
That's what I call it. It's called Road Warrior. Be a Road Warrior. That's getting back. So if you can't come to and pass out cards, you can't do anything, you got family. Well,
hey, I'm fully supporting this, but I am still in the idea we're going to launch Operation Road Warrior with our stuff, too. Okay, going back to Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai, amazing scientist, inventor of email, expert on exposing GMOs, laboratories. He really is a great businessman like Donald Trump we need, but also a scientist. Getting into your Operation Road Warrior and how folks can do that. And just, then I want to get into this blue wave turning into, again, blue backwash, like toilet bowl cleaner, and now what looks like a red tsunami, all these Trump enemies, even Republicans losing in special elections, this neocon governor, all of them. I mean, this has got to really scare the globalists.
Yeah, I mean, look, Alex, a big thing is, Donald Trump is fundamentally a guy who went after the deep state as an anti-establishment. In Massachusetts, you have a very interesting thing, and I tweeted this out earlier. You have Charlie Baker, who's a Republican governor. There's a great picture I put up of him taking a selfie with Elizabeth Warren. And this guy told people not to vote for Trump. Remember, a Republican. And you have the other 3 Republican candidates who are running. One of them who got the endorsement of the Republican Party, which we've talked about, this guy, Dirty Deal, who photoshopped a picture of himself handshaking with Trump, and who also endorsed Charlie Baker. So that's what you have going on. What you have going on now is that the Massachusetts Republicans and the sewer here wants to suck back all the Trump loyalists, a lot of them who are independents. By the way, and from our analysis, only 50% of the Republicans actually voted for Trump in Massachusetts. The 1 million votes who came, 800,000 were independents, Alex.
And let's be clear, you're absolutely right. More and more Democrats are acting like they're Trump people to then beat Republicans, but some Republicans are getting smart who are actually anti-Trump and now acting like they're pro-Trump, but again, they're hoping we don't have a memory.
Exactly. So they're fake Trumpers. So you have the Trump loyalists who are basically anti-establishment people against the deep state. They got it. Then you have the fake Trumpers and you have the never Trumpers. The more insidious ones are the fake Trumpers, right? I mean, the reason I dumped the Republican Party is because they're part of the deep state. I mean, we're completely support the president, particularly all of the stuff that he's done against the establishment and all the great things he's been doing to deliver honest promises. So the opportunity in Massachusetts is to really go back to our roots and say, let's declare our independence. To hell with both of these establishment parties. I'm not talking about the people on the ground who may call themselves, quote unquote, Democrats and Republicans, because I think we offer an opportunity for people to really start discussing vital issues like you do on your show, Alex, that are being brought up. And that's why this Road Warrior thing is so phenomenal, because it lets people be participants. But more importantly, it's really allowing people in Massachusetts to say, wait a minute, you're calling Elizabeth Warren a racist? I go, yeah. And then it says, what does that mean? Well, that means Harvard, where she is settled, and MIT in many ways, even though I went to MIT. If you look at the 2 major universities here, they're basically the 2 foci of the deep state. If you go to the center of where MIT and Harvard are.
No, that's right. You're engaging in a frontal assault on the deep state white shoe boys that just think they own this world. ShivaForSenate.com. People got to go there because they're so triggered. They tried to ban, people just joined us, they tried to ban your posters. They tried to ban your bus. Outrageous authoritarians expanding their anti-free speech zones all over the state. You're going to cram it down their throat with these magnets on doors. It's up to the people. The ball's in their court.
Yeah, so Alex, one of the important points I want to make is if you go into Kendall Square, which is down the street from here, and if you look in 100-yard one way, you'll see Monsanto. The other 100-yard, you'll see Facebook. The other 100 yards, you'll see Google. You'll see the 5 major pharma companies, and then you'll see the Defense Advanced Research
DARPA.
Projects Agency, DARPA. So what I am sitting in, and everyone needs to understand this, is the epicenter of the deep state. So if someone wants to know a geographical location, I would assert that it's Cambridge, Massachusetts.
I totally agree with you.
Harvard.
That is absolutely, because that's where they train. It's an intelligence operation. They're basically spies.
Exactly.
British intelligence, Austrian-Hungarian Empire intelligence came in and set up Skull and Bones, all that at Yale, Harvard, you name it. And then they use that. It's not even the Germans or Brits running it today, but it's those networks, those foreign intelligence networks that are now controlled by corporations that run these operations. They gave the Chinese communist, the Office of Personnel Management hack, their enemies.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is this, Alex. People naturally want to work together, in my view, right? And these...
When there's resources and we have shared goals, people don't even look at what color somebody is. I don't even look at what color you are. I look at your politics and the fact that you have a track record as a businessman. I know I'm interrupting. Go ahead.
Right. And what have you actually done, right? Do you get up? Do you have skills? Do you know how to work? Do you know how to put a company together? Do you know how to build something? This is what America was made up. It was made up of hardworking people who had vision, innovation, entrepreneurship. A lawyer, lobbyist like Elizabeth Warren or any of these career politicians are all basically parasites. They have no skills, and that was never the intent of the founders. And
yeah, what's Congress? I'm going to hold you over as I interrupted, but 90% is lawyers or something? We need 90% being engineers and scientists.
Yeah, one scientist. Rand Paul's an ophthalmologist. You got Thomas Massey, who's an MIT engineer also. But fundamentally, most of these guys know nothing. And if you look at how much money they raise, Elizabeth Warren's going to raise $100 million. 95% of it goes to her flunkies, and then a little bit goes into TV advertising, et cetera. So what we're saying is, let's do something very innovative. When we put this sign up on our car, we're taking our own government back, because it's saying, I'm not going to spend a lot of money. I'm going to be an activist. I'm going to be a road warrior. But more importantly, we're taking back our power. And that's what we need to do. We need to take this country back. And that's what our campaign is about.
And it's $25. That's a couple of the magnets and a couple of bumper stickers.
And shipping included. Everything's included. But most importantly,
all right. Stay there. We're back in 60 seconds. I just want to briefly ask you, and then Doug Adams taking over on the AG report. I want to ask you this quick question, Dr. Shiva. What do you expect at your gut level for this red tsunami to look like? Or is it going to be a red tsunami? Your gut level straight ahead. And boy, I'd love to see you in the U.S. Senate. I would just love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Dr. Shiva is here with us, Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai. He is running against Pocahontas. That is, of course, Elizabeth the fraud, the fake Indian Warren. And his idea of putting out metal decals, magnetized decals with whatever the political message, it's perfect because the left does go after libertarian, conservative, or pro-gun stickers. They pull them off. They key your car. It doesn't happen a lot, but it happens. And I'd already decided months ago, we've got to go. And it's just so many initiatives, so many things to get done. I'm going to come out with a magnetized stuff to put on your car if you want to trigger people and fight hard. We're going to come out with little ones and big ones. And I'm gonna accelerate this as fast as I can. But just great minds think alike. Everybody should go to ShivaForSenate.com and go get the road warrior package, where you get 2 of the magnets and you get 2 bumper stickers for $25.
And a lawn sign.
And a yard sign and 2 small ones. Excuse me. By the way, I know what this stuff costs. So your shipping is included in that. It looks like you're pretty much putting that out at cost, because I know what that stuff costs.
And it's all made in America, Alex. Everything is made in the United States. So all of it's going to the people who made it, and it's going to the people who ship it. So the issue here is, why do we need all this money? The other question I got is, why does Elizabeth Warren need a $180,000 salary? And why do all these guys need a pension? Part of one of the things I'm going to do, Alex, when I'm elected, I'm not going to take any of that. You know, any pension you give, that should be put into a trust and given to people who actually need it to send their kids to vo-tech schools. That's what's really needed. These people, when is enough? Elizabeth Warren's got a $10 million home. She got $350K from Harvard. They get a lot of pension. They get great health care. How much is enough for these people? And at the same time, they attack people who actually work hard and make money and build great businesses, right? So they want to have it both ways. They want to appear like they're the fighters for the working people. And on the other hand, they're scumbags who essentially live off of the working people. And that's what we want to expose. And that's what this sign is really about. It's not about race. It's about integrity.
And it's about her being something she's not. She's a fraud.
Exactly.
They make it all about not what you stand for, like Martin Luther King said, but what group you're with. And then she's not even with the group she says. She's a liar.
Exactly. Supports Monsanto, right? She talks about helping people. She supported the company that poisons all of our kids. Here's a person who supported the Monsanto Protection Act. You know, The Guardian just had a great article exposing how the FDA hid emails which fundamentally show that, you know, glyphosate was getting into all of our food.
And so it's causing massive cancers, and you've been a trailblazer on that. I couldn't think of a better Senate candidate anywhere my friend. You'd
Yes,
be better than almost all the other Republican senators. You'd be a new Rand Paul, but and I don't want to say even smarter, but I mean, when it comes to science and stuff, you are, I'm interviewing you a lot, knowing your work. I mean, I think you're probably smarter than Rand Paul, and that's saying a lot. He is a real policy wonk and a patriot. Your quick prediction, I'm going to move to the next guest, my friend. Shiva, of course, running for U.S. Senate, Dr. Shiva. What do you think this wave's going to look like? Blue wave, red wave?
What I'm trying to say is we're at a very interesting inflection point in American history, world history. It's what the individual does, Alex. There is no prediction here. It's so much chaos is being created.
Exactly. They're trying to tell us we're going to lose, just like they said Trump would lose. It's all a fraud. The truth is there's a giant red wave coming.
Exactly. There's a red wave, and more importantly, what each one of us does can make a difference. That's what the opportunity is.
All right. Thank you. God bless.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
And again, whether he wins, loses, or draws, he wins by being all over TV, all over radio, educating people.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
He goes to jail. He goes to jail. Lock him up.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.